All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Flutter Explained. Today, I'm here live at Sono Motors, and we have Tech Day today. And as you can see, I invited two fantastic partners into it, where we have an interview about the app that is developed by Sono Motors. If you don't know Sono Motors, it's a German automotive company that designs and manufactures electric vehicles. With a focus on sustainability and affordability, the company aims to make EVs accessible for more, to avoid a wider range of people and developing a unique solar integrated car, the Scion, that allows for self-charging, increased range, and reducing of the carbon footprint. All right, but we want to talk today about the app, and we will talk about what it can do. For example, it can manage the car, create communities, and organize trips, but we will hear more about that. And today I invited a software engineer, Max Berghoff. He is actively working on the app, and a PO, Chris Tejera, who will talk about the PO and the active development that is currently occurring. Great. So they will share direct insights and expertise about the app and answering some questions that I've prepared about the architecture, design, and the development process. Well, now I really hope that you find that interview informative and interesting. So I would say let's get started. Hello, Chris. Nice to meet you. How are you doing? Great. Okay. Yeah, we have to share it a little bit. So sorry. It's, as I said, live setup, so everything can change. Yes, exactly. All right. So, hi Chris, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you and what is your role at Sono Motors?
Good. My name is Christina. I joined November.
Just give me a second.
Yeah?
So, 1 second, I have to change something and throw that away. Good. So, now it should be better.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
Hi
So,
again. My name is Christina. I joined Sono Motors a bit more than a year. And as Max said, I'm the product manager for mobility services piece and a bit more of that. We will get there in a minute. And yeah, I'm a product manager since a couple of years now. And I joined Sono Motors to make sure that we have a great mobility services piece.
cool. All right, fantastic. I will ask you now to hold the microphone because it needs to be very close at your mouth, and I don't want to do that for you. So, can you describe a little bit about the overall vision and goals for the app and how it fits into the company's larger product strategy?
Good. That's a great question. As all of other questions that you're gonna do today, but let's focus on this one now. As you said before, the car is at the center of what we do at Sono.
Talk a little bit louder.
Okay, I will try to talk louder. I hope this is okay. So yeah, the car is at the center of this entire story, right? This is what we do. We do this solar car to try to change climate conditions and the climate situation we are at. Of course, what we try to do with the app is to be an extension of the car, if you will. By creating mobility services around the car and make them available in the app, we try to build a customer experience that it's comfortable and convenient and seamless for the users. So you as an owner of a Zion have the opportunity to monitor the status of your vehicle, control those status, and ultimately share your vehicle, and in the future, a near future we hope, ride pooling it as well. Don't forget, the Zion car is made to be shared, and this is why we focus so much in our app to make sure that that comes true, that is a reality. So that's how the app translates and fits in the entire strategy of Sono as a company. I hope that was clear.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So, you have a big challenge, right? You want to bring the Scion on the street, you want to make that ride pooling available for everyone. But I ask myself, how do you gather and prioritize the customer feedback that you receive to update your app?
uh, every day-to-day reality of a product person, right? So, what I can tell you, Max, and you know that sharing with our with the people that are seeing us and hearing us, Sono Motor has a great community, meaning the people that are following our brand and you know, buying our products and being really close to us give us a lot of feedback in many different channels. So getting feedback is not a problem at all for us. We have a lot of it. The challenge is exactly as you say, gather it, classify it, and prioritize it. So I can give you a bit more of a reality. How does that happen behind the stage? So we have a lot of channels since, you know, social media. There's a lot of feedback on different channels also on social media. We keep consistent track of those every day. We also have mails that people write us very proactively with tons of feedback, and we love our community for that. And ultimately, we also have the app stores, iOS and Android. As you know, the mobility community, the mobile community knows this very well. You can leave feedback towards the apps you use. We have a lot of feedback on the stores as well. So we read all of that. We categorize the feedback in terms of, you know, initiatives or topics that are important to us, or products. Topics, let's call them like that, and we bring these topics, these already categorized topics, into a matrix of relevance, impact, value versus complexity. And we try to understand what is the complexity associated to each topic we are looking at, and what is the impact, what's the value that we will deliver to customers with each one of these initiatives. That's already a way of segmenting and prioritizing. So that's one layer, and then when we are done with the matrix, we bring another layer, which is which one of these product topics plays in an important role into the company OKRs. Also sharing with you, Sono runs on OKRs. We have yearly OKRs, and we also have quarterly OKRs. And so everything that we do matches up against those metrics. And so this is how we prioritize. We read a lot from all the feedback that we have. We categorize, we prioritize according to value, complexity matrix, and then we make sure that what we pick is according to OKRs.
Thank you. All right, and how do you determine the most important feature now? So you say you have that metrics, and you just take whatever has the most impact with the most value, and that's the feature that you want to implement next.
If we talk about new initiatives that we want to bring to the product, that would be the process, yes. But there's more than that, right? There's potentially things we have to improve in the product, and that needs to be tackled in a different urgency matrix, right? Let's say we have some issue with the platform. We address those things faster than any other product initiative. So we also give buffer for those topics that might come up. But when we look at strictly from a perspective of product increment, the process that I've described before would be the rule. I just wanted to also share with you that we give a lot of importance and relevance to the voices of the community. So I can tell you that what our community is telling us takes a lot of precedence, because we really foster and appreciate the feedback that comes to us.
Wow, that sounds really good. All right, but that means you have a feature, and now you of course have to design something, right? It's an app, you want to visualize that, and you also want to create like a user experience. So my question would be, how do you develop that and you test it in real life. I mean, you don't want to waste money, right, at the end.
Correct. We at Sono are agile and we are cross-platform teams. That means that each team unit has the capacity of develop a product topic from inception to deployment to bring it to market, and we do that in an always based on an agile methodology. In our case, we call it Scrumban or something between Scrum and Kanban, but we are agile. So what does it mean? It means that we don't do waterfall. We don't describe requisites that we're gonna develop and deploy in a time frame of 3 months. We don't do that. What we do is a very iterative process between creating a concept and validate it always with the team and the community with user testing, and then make in a very as fast as possible, making sure we have a good concept that can then be developed. So if you really look at it, you could say that this is more or less based on design sprint methodologies. We don't always follow the rule of 1 week and then you have a full design of a concept. Normally we take a bit more time, but it is as iterative and participative, including the team and also including user testing, meaning including the community, really actively asking people to come and test our concepts before they get to be developed. I think this is, in a very high level, how we do it.
Great. Okay. So now you have everything implemented, but you want to make sure that your app is a success, right? So my question would be, what are the metrics to make sure your app is successful in the long run? So do you have like metrics and KPIs, and can you share them with us?
Not all, but some. So, mantra in engineering at Sono: if you can't measure it, you can't optimize it. So we measure it. For mobility services specifically, we look at a very important North Star at this point in time, and that would be number of trips in the platform. Currently, we focus the number of trips because our platform allows people to already share their vehicle, and of course, each trip is a step towards success. In the future, this North Star might change towards CO2 emissions saved. Yeah, and now you can ask, oh, but why don't you already take that North Star today? Because the platform is not yet solely focusing on electric vehicles. Right now we also have combustion engine allowed in the platform. When the Sono Xeon comes to be deployed and available for everyone, the electric vehicle rate in the platform will also increase, and then it's the time when we can change from number of trips to number of CO2 emissions saved. Okay, this is one North Star. There are other important KPIs that we keep track. For instance, downloads that we have in the platform, of course, level of user engagement, retention, and of course, revenue.
All right, that is very insightful. Thank you. And now we come to my very personal favorite question, and it is: can you talk a little bit about major challenges and obstacles that you run along the way while you developed the app, and how you encountered them?
How many am I allowed to talk about? No, okay. It's not as dramatic as that, but we do have a couple of paramount challenges, and maybe I will mention two. So, first of all, look at our product. We are a car sharing platform based on communities, which means that our owners have the onus, they have the responsibility of creating this community and make it grow. So why is that? Why do we have communities? Because exactly of that, our first challenge. make sure that owners trust us to have their car in our platform. How do we create this level of trust? This is why this is the reason why we designed this concept of communities. Trust was one challenge, and this is how we solve it, by creating the possibility for owners to craft their community around them. That community might be based only on family and friends, or the owner can decide that the community might be, people geographically around that community. And in that case, the community might be discoverable in the app, and people will have the opportunity to get themselves invited to that community, always with the approval of the owner. So to sum up, one of the challenges was trust of the owners, and how we solve it, we create the concept of communities. The second challenge was to match owners and members. Right now, we've seen that the people that have cars might not know people that need cars. And in order to create this effect of matching, we designed then this concept of discoverable communities that I mentioned before. Meaning, if an owner wishes to meet members to use their car, they can set their community as discoverable, and so this community will be visible in the map of the app, and other people can see it and see if it's interesting to join the community and to use the vehicle. So those were they still are two challenges in terms of product for us.
Whew, wow, sounds very difficult to overcome these challenges. I really hope that you will manage that in the long run. And yeah, now we come already to your last question that I've prepared for you today, and it is, how do the app development roadmap and features align with the overall business goals of the company?
Well, I could give an answer by the book, but I think books you can read, and I'm gonna share how things happen at Sono. And it all starts with an outlook of an overall strategic outlook for the company, right? When we think about a roadmap, we think, okay, what will be important for us as a company in 1 or 2 years time frame? And we build it backwards, right? In 1 or 2 years, we want to be in XYZ position, and to get us there, we need this amount of pieces. And then we start, right? We compose the roadmap using those pieces that we've identified as paramount to get us where we want, and those trickle down into, from a strategic level to a tactical level, what do we have to do to get there? And then this is the roadmap, right? And then when you have the big strategic pieces, you can derive the tactics to make that strategy happen. I know this is very high level, but if you are part of an engineering team, try to picture that. Imagine yourself and your company and your team in 2 years from now, and try to identify what is the path there, and what are the things that you are missing, that you have to build to get you there. This is how we do it.
All right, thank you very much for these insights in the life of a PO. I'm very happy that I had you here. Thank you, Chris. But now let's switch a little bit to the, let's say, dark side or tech side of the things. And I wanted to introduce Max now, who is the active developer here at Sono Motors for the app. For the backend, you are nearly everywhere, right? Would you maybe explain a little bit who you are and what you are doing here at Sono Motors?
Hi, I'm Max. I'm one of 3 or 4 Max we have. This always gives us some conflicts. No real conflicts, but just some naming conflicts. I'm a full stack developer, so I would call it. So I'm really doing all of the stuffs. I'm doing some kind of infrastructure. I'm doing the backend part. I'm doing the app parts. Currently, as we are in the campaign, I also give a hand on the website. So it's a full stack thing, and yeah, that's me, and just other information about me. For me, this job or this thing is a kind of a purpose-driven, or the motivation is purpose-driven, because I really love the things we do here. As some might know, I'm a little climate activist outside of Sono, so my motivation there and here is the same. So I really like the things we do here.
All right, great. So my very first question for you is, can you describe the architecture and how the app is integrated into the other systems inside of the Sono big picture of Technic?
Yes, but first of all, I have to say the app itself is not the whole thing. When we are talking about the architecture, then we must say that the app is just a little piece in front. Like a website is just a view on the data. The app is also a kind of a view and a thing to control, or a thing to manage the things. Behind this app is a backend. I would even call it a kind of a platform. We use a microservice approach there to handle all different domain of or different topics we have to handle there. And beside of this this backend, we have a content CRM system, and that is the part where all in the company comes together. So this is our connection point to the company. So we manage the customers there, we manage the invoices there. So the complete journey comes from the CRM and goes back to the CRM. And besides that, we also have some kind of back office tooling, I would say. We call it Houston. This is our little tool for our back office. I would just mention it in the complete picture here. And yes, this is the things we're working on, and we use for our mobility service.
Okay, thank you. That is a big picture for everything. I really like that. And now the question is, what programming languages and frameworks are you using in general to build the app?
Yes, the app itself is written in native script. So at the end, React Native. Just two sentences in one. What I wanted to say is, at the end, the developers or we are writing JavaScript there to generate an app for both worlds. So at the end, we have an app for Android and an app for iOS system, but we have to write the code only once in JavaScript. But this is the feature, or this is the thing which comes from React Native. In the backend, we mostly write services in TypeScript, which also then end in the JavaScript code. Some of our services are written in Go, especially those that are responsible for connecting the vehicle and the vehicle data. As I mentioned it before, our back office tool is written then in React. So again, JavaScript. So we have a big weight, or a lot of JavaScript in our code, but also some Go. Also to mention, when we look at the infrastructure, we also use a kind of a framework there. It is no real framework. We deploy our backend system in a Kubernetes cluster, which we run in our Google environment. And and our infrastructure is completely set up as code. So we use Terraform for it. So we can easily redeploy things. We can that's it.
Cool. So we got a very good picture of the tech stack, which is amazing. And now my question would be, So, Chris, you mentioned before that you have different users, different controls, and things like that. So how do you do user authentication and user authorization? Can you give us just some words about that?
First of all, cool that you divide those two parts, because most people have it all in one, because the authentication is the way to allow the user to come into the app, and therefore we use a one-time password system, or system is one thing. For us, it's a big amount of security. We win through it, and for the user, it's also a win because of he doesn't have to store some password somewhere or maybe lose it somewhere, and we also don't have to store them. It's just an email address they type in, they get an email, click a button, and they're in. So it's a win-win situation for us as developers and for the users, for the user experience. And then the authorization is a part where we decide which parts of the app a user can handle, which part of the app he's allowed to see, for example. So an owner, for example, is able to manage the community, while a community member is just able to maybe see the owner and see the contact details of the owner. And these are things we manage through authorization. And there we have the so-called JWT token, which holds most of the information to decide which actions are possible for the user and what not. And yes, that are the things, how to manage it, and this is our authorization and process.
Amazing. Well, that sounds absolutely like you had security in mind. You didn't want to lose passwords, so it's a very good idea that you did a OTP solution here. So I'm really happy to hear that, actually. So my next question would be, and this is nearly the same that I asked for Chris, also one of my favorite ones. So can you tell me a bit about your challenges that you had during the development of the app and how you solved these problems?
As you could imagine, we for such a huge project, there are many challenges. Some of the challenges are just because they are new. Some of the challenges are things we have to integrate. Or some of the challenges we even know from former projects because they appear in every project. And for especially for the new ones, I would call the integration of an insurance provider. But because before doing it, I couldn't imagine that it is possible to reach an insurance company without using a fax. and we introduced an easy solution by a partner where we have an API and we get our insurance product through an API, and they are especially this is the purpose of this partner. They're only doing this API or insurance API as a service thing, I would call it, and this is the way how we integrate the insurance thing. Another tricky situation or tricky thing is the way how we integrate the keyless handover thing. There we use an external system or keyless handover box, and for integration of that, this I must say is really a complex structure, a complex system to really make it secure. I would really say this is the most complex thing I ever touched or ever implemented with my colleagues. So this is really cool, but also complex. And yeah, with that you saw that we have a lot of complex things, but this is the thing what makes our job really interesting, because that are problems we like to solve.
Wow. Okay, can imagine. So if you have these problems, can you maybe give us some examples on how you test your app and how you debug in your app?
Yes, we do testing. It's that way. Testing and debugging is really important for our work. Testing gives us, the developers, the trust and the security to deploy things fast, because all things that are tested in an automatic way are somehow written down, and we don't have to do it manually again and again. So we have a lot of different test things or test scenarios in our complete setup. We have multiple. We have a lot of unit tests, I would say. We have a lot of service layer tests. All of them are automated in the app and the backend development. But what we currently lack is a little bit the complete test, the complete automation, and therefore we use or we have our quality man, which does the manual test, but we also do testing locally in our local environment and so on. But he comes especially into the scene when we have deployment and so on. Then we really go through the complete app and look if all things are working. One sentence to the debugging. Yes, debugging is a thing we do locally. This is not a thing for CI pipelines also. It's a thing we do on our PCs, and that really depends on the language and on the system. We have the debugging capabilities in JavaScript. This is quite easy to implement, and it's mostly used when, especially from my perspective, when we do test-driven development, I would say. Then we can look into our code, debug it, and see what's going on. But as I said, it's really dependent on the language. It's a different way to debug Go or JavaScript code.
All right. So you mentioned in your introduction that you are a purpose-driven person, and could you give me some examples? What do you mean exactly by that? So what does it mean to create code that is purpose-driven?
For me, at the end, the major purpose is the product. What we create with it. So I worked in several projects before, and the most software developer know it. The most of the projects are somewhat shops, integration of shops and other things into shops. So this is like a endless iteration of customizing and customizing shops and makes them better in selling things. But here we have a completely different situation. We really work on a product which goes into the future, which tries to describe a new way of mobility or new thinking, especially of mobility. And that is a way, that is a thing that convinced me from the first day. And as usual in software projects, we as developers or as a complete team are inside of the complete process. So we do all things together. So the things that Christina described some minutes ago is all a kind of a teamwork. So we have processes where we come together and speak about the features. And there we are really able to bring up our ideas, to bring up our opinions. And so we all drive the product together. And that is an amazing situation for me especially. And yes, and with this product, as we know, we really will have an impact on the environment, and that is the main motivation for me. And yeah, I couldn't expect, or I wouldn't expect another company with such a purpose-driven development.
Okay, cool. So and now I would like to ask for all the users that have already downloaded your app. So what is the last and recent update and feature that you will soon implement in the app, or that is maybe already inside of it? So what is the last feature you really developed?
Yeah, especially before the campaign, we had some last integrations in I would call it an event system. So we had several events in our backend, but we really streamlined it, and now we have a really cool and working event queue in our backend, which decouples, which gives us the possibility to decouple all of our services in a better way, and which really worked out from the day one, because we started implementing a in-app notification with it. This was maybe a kind of a trigger to do them all. But this in-app notification we almost overrode or we replaced it a week afterwards by implementing push notifications because we really needed it for the start of the campaign, and those push notifications we're currently doing via Firebase and getting them into the app, and that is, I would say, the last feature we integrated, except maybe this pre-order page or this special page for the app to link to our current campaign. This had been the task before Christmas, and now the app is in this state.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, then thank you so much, you both. It was an amazing interview. And that nearly concludes our interview for today. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had also some fun today. And that gave... Yep. And sorry. And I hope that gave you an inside look in the development process that Sono Motors has, and also the innovative features for the application. So if you are interested in learning more about the Sono Motors app, you could check out the app itself. It is available in the App Store and in Google Play Store, right? Perfect. Good. And if you want to know more about Sono Motors' mission, about their electric car Sion, and how they make their EVs accessible and sustainable, check out the website. You find the link down in the video description below. Cool. So now, don't forget to share this video if you liked it to your friends. Like it, and as always, comment it, because we have here a fantastic team from the Sono people. Also, Sono community is here and will support us in answering all the questions that you maybe have. Maybe you also have some fun to answer them. And yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe, and till the next time, see ya. Bye.